welcome to the stage the amazing Willie Carlisle.
I want to do a couple songs from this new record, Critterland. I always wanted to write a song for bad fathers. So this is for the bad fathers in the room. You know who you are. It's called The Arrangements, and it takes place at a funeral. He was dead inside my head long before he died. So making the arrangements felt natural, felt nice. No medicine for saving him from cigs and booze and salt. Feels pretty nice to say I thought his sadness was my fault. So let's pour one out for the bastard. It's still sad when assholes die. Or you can pour your drink out in the sink and go on and live your life. I hear his drunk footfalls through bedroom walls. I find comfort in the sound. But I'm my own father now. I was drooling, I was foolish. The first time that you saw me, I said your eyes were like a Jersey cow, your tongue so clean and country. In all those drunk disasters, did you ever feel the same? Do you think I want these feelings? Chose my face or chose my name? So don't ask about blame or forgiveness. It's still sad when bad love dies. You think I'm full of shit, so you're over it. Go on, take the last word and my pride. 'Cause I'm my father's spitting image, and I spit upon the mirror. And so the old man is still here. And I know that I will go soon. My heart's also not that strong. It got written in the stars about 1,000 light years long. But I feel it all start to dissolve in the cemetery's rain. And I know about 1,000,000 men that feel about the same. So let's pour one out for the bastard. Even bastards need their friends. Or you can pour your drink out in the sink. You got the last laugh in the end. All the arrangements are in order, and I might buy the bar around. 'Cause I'm my own father now. Don't you ask about blame or forgiveness. I ain't one for choosing sides. He was full of shit, now I'm over it. I'm glad that I survived. I see the earth did not crack open. No one opened up the clouds. It's all right, I'm my own father now. Oh, I'm my own father now. Feels really good to work out your shit in public, so thank you. I think everybody should do it a little bit more, work out your shit in public, because it helps, right?
That's really what it's there for. Yeah.
I tried to move out onto a commune, and the commune was in rural Arkansas. And it was really a lovely place. It had been there since the 70s. A thing that they don't tell you about anarchists when you read about them is that they're disorganized. I did not successfully move out onto this commune, in part because of that disorganization. But I did fall in love with the rural Ozarks. I figured out, and I figured out why. I think, and it's because it takes a little piece of intellectual freedom that we lose. It's not fun to be from a place that has been totally divested of social and civic services for like 150 years, right? It's not fun to live in a place that got electrified in the 1950s, 20 years after the electrification projects began, right? It's not fun to be in a place that just now got the internet, right? But there is something that is awesome out there, and it is the fact that you become a free thinker because you have to be, right? If you want to pave a road, if you want paved roads, you got to pave the road. If you want there to be a fire department, congratulations, you are now the fire department, right? That kind of radical self-reliance really rubbed off on me. I wanted it to rub off on me because I was raised by SpongeBob SquarePants and the Nintendo 64. I remember asking them, so like, are you guys like libertarians or anarchists or what are you? Like, are you so far to the right you came out on the left? Like, what's the deal? And they just are like, it's hay season. It's time to help everybody do their hay. So I fell in love out there too. And this song about all that. It's called Critterland. Well, I could have been a businessman. I was too hot-headed, plus I never had the money. Plus I kinda got arrested, but my sweet old folks thought I'd make a pretty decent one of those. And I still live the kind of life where people judge on your clothes. But now it's 40 miles of back road on all-terrain tires. That little blue hymnal sitting open all the while, singing songs to a God I've met but do not know, making wagers on the critters that we'll see crossing the road. Yeah, the sparrow on the wing taught me to find you, and the possum knows her own mind more than I do. I'm here for all the love that I can stand. Take me to Critterland. In the decade of our loving, we've grown to not so young. I've come to know the seasons by the lashing of your tongue. But the propane gently sputters, there's spring water in our tap. Oh, why can't we feel the peace of the sweet dog upon our laps? Oh, the granny witch and herbalist have remedies for us. It's a tincture and a prayer poured down the holler of our guts. On the homestead in the pine beds, we've grown our holy power. Oh, laying bare like critters there hour by loving hour. Yeah, the sparrow on the wing taught me to sing for you, and the possum keeps her young closer than I do. I'm here for all the grief that I can't stand. Take me to Critterland. Oh, I never thought I could love like this. You might call me a queer or a communist, but I'll go along to get along, darling. It feels so right. 'Cause why have a God if no one is saved? I think love is a burden. If it ain't brave, I'll live and die forever there, right there in that divide. 'Cause it's hard to say what I have learned from all these hills and hymns, but we're dying and we're singing, and I love you and we've sinned. And when marauders come, 'cause the apocalypse is nigh, I want my rifle on my shoulder, my lover by my side. I want to be the kind of man that stands his ground and dies. Take my fiddle and my good hat, I'll go out in style. I'm gonna do it all for family, not for glory or a god, in the war that's raging between the haves and the have-nots. Yeah, the sparrow on the wing taught me to sing for you, and the possum keeps your teeth sharper than I do. You should bury me where I make my last stand, at the Battle of Critterland. At the Battle of Critterland. This is the smallest little nip of whiskey, and it has done me really well. This little teacup. It's not, yeah, no, I wish it, I'm glad, so glad it's not espresso. Have you ever seen what espresso does to your stomach lining? Yeah, I'll stick to whiskey, thank you. So, I'd like to do an old cowboy song. I'm going to do a couple cowboy songs here this evening. I'm not an actual cowboy. I play for enough children and drunk people that I want to always make that clear. This is actually like kind of a cowboy drag act, you know. I'm not a cowboy, but I would never, ever work as hard as it would be required to be. I'm not that foolish, and also I was born into, well, anyhow. I've met a couple of those guys, and one of them that I met is this guy that taught me this song, old guy named Steve Cormier. The way I like to tell everybody about him, the anecdote is his belt buckle's 3 times the size of mine. It says, Sedgwick County, Kansas Rodeo, 1989, 4th place. That's the kind of guy that is. I've loved learning a bunch of songs from him. He's taught me a bunch of great songs, and this is, I think, my favorite, maybe. It's called The High Tone Dance. And it tells the story of a cowboy going into a bar in Denver looking for conjugal visitation, what was at the time known as the fair sex. Again, now this whole thing's a drag show, who knows. But back then, inside of those rigid gender roles, he wanders into a bar looking for conjugal visitation with the fair sex and finds out that he's not going to fit in at all because he doesn't have any money. So this is his Misadventures, the High Tone Dance. Well, friends, you can't expect a cowboy for to edumacate his shank in an etiquette-ish fashion under an aristocratic rank. Old boy, he's often been accustomed to shake and heel and toe at them rattling rancher dances where that kind of etiquette folks that don't much go. So you can bet I had 'em all laughing in this awkward sort of way. Oh, I had 'em yanking up their squitters in excited sort of play. When I tumbled into Denver, perchance to take a prance in the snoozing easy measures of a high-tone dance. So when I got amongst those ladies in their frocks so fleecy white, and the dudes topped off in wrappings that were truly out of sight, I tell you what, folks, I frankly got embarrassed. Oh, I could not help but keep from feeling like a burro in a flock of pretty sheep. Now every step I took was awkward. Oh, I blushed so bloomin' red, not dissimilar to the principal decoration on a turkey gobbler's head. Well, the ladies said 'twas seldom that they truly had a chance to see an honest-to-God good time puncher at a high-tone dance. So I cut me out this heifer. And I'm aware that you shouldn't call women heifers in the 21st century. Don't worry, I'm not actually trying to do that. Just trying to sing an old folk song the way it was taught to me by an ornery old bastard who was taught it by, learned it from an ornery old bastard who learned it from an ornery old bastard. You know what I mean? It's American history. It's ornery old bastards all the way down. You know what I'm saying? I do think that it's sort of weird that he said heifer, but I believe that he probably had a lot of good intentions with that because he probably knew a lot of heifers. Realistically, I'm from fucking Arkansas, and I know like 3 heifers on a first-name basis. You know what I mean? He probably knew tons of heifers on a first-name basis. In fact, he makes his living off of heifers. You know what I mean? So I think if we're offended by that just because it's a lot lot later, then I don't think that's really correct because he had a totally different way of thinking about the world than we did. And I do think if you take all these old songs, you change all the words to make sure that a primarily white middle-class audience is comfortable all the time, well, they're doing a fundamental disservice to the American folk tradition, which is buried inside of a lot of problems that we're dealing with in the American society today, like racism, sexism, colonialism, homophobia, and these old kind of old problems that we haven't looked at our folklore close enough to like know how to actually solve because we want to like whitewash them and make sure that they're all really simple. So I think that we can use these old songs as like dialectical materials with us to try to make the world a better place. So I cut me out a heifer from this flock of pretty girls. Well, I sidled up beside that cow to dance that dreamy whirl. Well, she shoved her hooves around me in this bovine sort of way. Oh, we drifted into heaven as the band began to play. But I could feel my neck burning from her nostrils breathing heat. As she do-si-doed around me, she kept clapping on my feet. And she gazed into my squinters with a frankly soul-dissolving glance. 'Twas quite conducive to the pleasures of a high-toned dance. So when they struck the old cotillion of that music bill of fare, every bit of devil in me seemed to take out on a tear. I let out a cowboy war whoop, and then I commenced to rag. Oh, I cut in with my trotters till the floor began to sag, and my partner then unaccountably became seasick, and she clopped off her seat. So I tried to rope the next one, but she dodged me slick and neat. I tell you what, folks, I pulled the creases from their go-to-meeting pants when I put the cowboy trimmings on that high-toned dance. Time's come for one of the saddest songs that I know. Probably the saddest song that I know. I got this in my craw around the time Roe v. Wade got overturned last year. Hell, was that 2 years ago? I don't know. It's been such a hard couple years in regards to that stuff, hasn't it? Well, anyways, I needed a song to sing about it, and this song came to mind and been rattling around in my brain for a lot of years. I've been singing it every night, and it still feels good to sing. This is called The Ballad of Penny Evans, and I learned it from the singing of the late, great Steve Goodman. Born in New Jersey, but he belongs to the whole damn country now. He wrote this song, and it was based off of the melody of an old Scots-Irish ballad. You know, something from the British Isles, like a lot of folklore comes from, right? He learned it from the singing of, I think he learned it from the singing of Lewis Killen, who was one of the few trans folk singers of the kind of folk revolution that happened in the 1960s and 70s, the folk scare. But this original melody comes from a tune called The Flying Cloud, which tells the story of a slave ship. It doesn't tell the story of a slave ship from the perspective of the people in the hold. It tells the perspective from the people working on it, right? It's the bad guys. It tells the story of, and it doesn't paint them in a bad light. So it's kind of a messed up folk song, right? Everybody had folk songs, right? But Steve Goodman, I'm pretty sure he heard the lyrics of this and were like, well, the melody slaps, but the lyrics are trash. And he threw them out. It's hard to wrap your brain around that idea, but I think it's kind of beautiful, right? They made this. What I've heard is a true story. Called The Ballad of Penny Evans, this Vietnam protest ballad. There it goes. Well, my name is Penny Evans, and my age is 21. And I'm a widow of the war that's being fought in Vietnam. And I have 2 infant daughters. Oh, I do the best I can. When they say the war is over, I tell them all it just began. I remember I was 17 when first I met young Bill. At his father's grand piano, we'd play good old heart and soul. And I only knew the left-hand part, but he could play the right so well. He's the only boy I've slept with. He's the only one I will. And it's first we had a baby girl, oh, we had 2 good years. After that the draft notice came, we parted without tears. Now it's 9 months from our last night when our second babe appears. 6 months later now this letter comes, confirming all my fears. And now it's every month I get a check from an army bureaucrat. And it's every month I tear it up and send the damn thing back. Do they think that I can be bought off? Do they think I'll fall for that? I won't take this bloody money. It can't bring my Billy back. Now I have not once cared for politics, all speeches I can't understand. Likewise, I'll never take no charity from any living man. But it's 50,000 Billies dead in that unhappy land. And that makes 50,000 heart and souls being played with just one hand. And my name is Penny Evans, and my age is 21. And I'm a widow of the war that's being fought in Vietnam. And I have 2 infant daughters. God, I'm glad I've had no sons. When they say the war is over, I tell them all it's just begun.